Little quick story, similar to what Tiss is. When we launched Now Lifestyle, I think Daniel joined on the very first day. Maybe it was within the first week anyway, it doesn't matter. But what I saw as something that I preach was a man who saw the vision very quickly of what we wanted to do, and he took more massive action than anyone so far at that very moment. And that's what positioned him, and he's never stopped taking that massive imperfect action every single day. And I was so impressed in what he was doing, and we got to know each other over Skype and a few other ways, and really loved his family, his son, his wife. When I went up to New England, got to know them even better. And during that time frame, just got to know a really, really amazing family as a group. And we've become very good friends since then. And he's just, you gotta learn from him, but more do what he does, you know? Don't take the education, walk away and don't do it, just replicate. As, you know, Richard said, don't reinvent the wheel. Do what he's doing. So he's an amazing individual. He's gonna be speaking, then we're gonna have some awards, we'll have one more speaker after that. So Daniel, come on up, my friend. Thank you for everything that you do.
Okay, that music needs to be 1,000 times louder, but that's okay. So, all right, before I get started, what's funny about this picture up here, I think that was taken last year in June when I came down here for the first time, and Joel kicked the shit out of me in the gym. But I was about 228 pounds right there, and right now I'm 190, so pretty cool. So let's do this. We've got a lot of people standing in the back. Just do me a favor, guys. Come on up front. Fill some seats up front here. Let's bring it in like we did yesterday with Adam and Ashley, and see if we can have a little fun. And I'll share with you guys my story, and I don't know, see if I can leave some type of impact on you, I guess. So, obviously, for those that don't know me, hopefully you do at this point, because I made a couple of videos, but yeah, my name is Dekel. I'm a diamond earner with Now Lifestyle. I've been in the online space, if you will, for just over 2 years. And, you know, before the whole online thing, I've always had a passion for network marketing. And to date myself, I'm 41 years old. I know I look a lot younger, it's okay, but I'm modest too. But the whole journey really started in my early 20s. I was working, at the time, I spent my entire life in retail sales, literally up until a couple of years ago, but I spent my entire life in retail sales, and back in my early 20s, I was working for a company called Whole Foods Market. Everybody know who Whole Foods Market is? We all love to shop there. It's also known as Whole Paycheck. But I was working in the receiving area, and again, I was in my early 20s. I was single. I was playing a rock band, and that's one of my other passions. I love to play music. I've been playing guitar since I was 10. I just had an amazing custom guitar just made that actually has that would be a clip that I would like to have here, but actually have my son's eyes embedded into the headstock of the guitar, which is really, really cool. But back in my early 20s, I was playing guitar, and my band was playing out, 1 to 2 times a week. We were practicing twice a week, and I was just enjoying life. And I was working as a receiver for Whole Foods because of the schedule. The schedule is Monday through Friday, 6 to 2. I mean, that's when you're working a job. That was a pretty cool schedule. Monday through Friday, 6 to 2. Most people that have a full-time job would kind of kill for that schedule. But it worked for me and my lifestyle at the time. And I remember this one day, I had my little two-wheeler, had a UPS came, I took a few boxes, put it on my two-wheeler, and I go walking up through the front of the store, and in order to get wherever the boxes were going, they were either going to the front office or they were going up to the cafe or whatever. But there was a little cafe seating area up in the front of the store, and I get to the front of the store, and there's this girl who I thought was kind of cute at the time, and she's up taking a break up in the cafe, and she has all these brochures spread out all over the cafe tables. And I had known her probably for a few months, just work, small talk, all that sort of stuff. And I get up there and I'm looking around. I'm like, "What's going on? What's all this stuff?" And she's like, "Oh, just working on some stuff." And she's like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "Want to come to a party tonight?" Of course, I'm like 22, 23 years old, whatever it was. And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go to a party. I got nothing else going on, no band practice tonight, I'll go to the party." So next thing I know, I show up to this party, and all of a sudden, I'm lying on a mattress on the floor, on a magnetic mattress pad, and someone's rolling these magnetic balls up and down my back. And I'm going, what the kind of party is this? And next thing I know, somebody's whispering in my ear, like, "Hey, this would be a really good profession for you." And I'm like, what is this? So, but it sounded really cool because at the time I had a back injury. I wasn't sleeping that good because doing the band thing, doing the rock star thing, I want to be a rock star. And I thought, all right, well, why don't I get me one of these $600 mattress pads that has magnets in it that's going to make me sleep better. And the more I got to know some of the products, the more I got to hear about the potential income, the more I started to kind of perk up and take more of an interest in this whole network marketing thing, this multi-level marketing thing. And so I got some of the products, and then I found out there was like a nutritional side of it, and then I said, all right, you know what? I reached out to this girl and I said, you know what? Instead of just buying the product off you, why don't you sponsor me in? I'll give this a whirl. And then I started having some lunches, I started having dinners, I started going to some of these meetings. And I remember this vividly. There was a dude who, at this time in the company, he was at a level called Ambassador Diamond. So there's like Diamond, and then some companies have like Double Diamond, Triple Diamond, and Ambassador Diamond, and then there's like Holy Shit Diamond, and that's what this guy was. And I knew this because I got invited to this, it wasn't a party, it was like a get-together at this woman's house, which was a few towns over from me. And it was more of just like an intimate, and like, hey, we're gonna get some people that are interested in this together. And this guy named Dennis, who was the Ambassador Diamond, was from, where was he? Some island off of Seattle, Washington. And I know this because I saw some pictures of his house, and his house, it was basically like the size of a hotel, and it sat on a cliffside looking out at the mountains and the seacoast and everything. So I'm at this house, and I get to meet this guy, and he's about 65 years old, and he's this like mad crazy, holy crap diamond making mad crazy money, and he sits down next to me, and he's just, he could have been a pilot because he just had this soothing, sultry kind of like, hey man, how you doing? I'm good. I'm Dennis. Nice to meet you. And like, he's not like, yeah, let's go rock the business. He's just like cool, calm, collected. And he brings out this 3-ring binder. And he's like, yeah, let me just kind of take you through our business. And he's flipping through, and he's like, oh yeah, this is the first month that we, this is 4 years ago, this is the first month that we made over $100,000 in a month. I was like, say what? And then he's like, oh, let me flip forward to today. Yeah, now we're making around this. And he points down to his paycheck. Of course, back then, this is before direct deposit, and this is photocopies of the checks that get mailed to them. And it was a photocopy of a check for $450,000 in 1 month. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this now. But the unfortunate part at the time, I think I was 23, 24 years old, is I was stupid. I didn't know what it was to work a business. I didn't have automation. I didn't have duplication. All I had was energy and passion to make a shitload of money. But I had no clue what I was doing. So I had the brilliant idea, I had the absolutely brilliant idea that I was going to quit my job and I was going to go full-time in network marketing. Boom! Yeah, full-time network marketer. Sounded awesome, worked like crap. because I thought, all right, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to make a list of all my friends and family, I'm going to call them up, and like Joel says, I very, very, very quickly became part of the NFL. No friends left, because I had talked to them all. And then I found myself getting around, throwing myself in my Jeep Grand Cherokee. I was driving to a mall, I was driving to all these mini malls, and I was listening to all these audios. Now I started getting into the educational side of it, and I was listening to all these audios from all these different leaders. And every single leader in that company all did something different to get to the rank that they were at. So there was zero consistency. So I went out there and I tried each and everything that each of one of these leaders do, and man, did I fail miserably. Long story short is I ended up going back to work about 6 months later because I was flat broke, and I racked up probably about $25,000 in credit card debt because I wanted to buy every product in the damn catalog, and I was leading by example to myself of what not to do. All right. So I knew the potential was there. That's when I first got bit by the bug, because I saw the income potential. I saw the videos of the people on stage and the lifestyle they were living. So I knew from a very early age that freedom lifestyle was possible. I sucked at making it happen at the first go around. However, it never really left. It never really went away. So fast forward a few years, I was up late at night because, again, I got back into the retail career. I started getting into retail management, started moving up in my retail career, and went from a receiver to a store shift leader to running a customer service team to being an assistant store team leader. And I think it was right around that time, maybe 28, 29 years old, and I think it was probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like many of you, I was sitting there watching some infomercial on this new company that was launching. I don't even know if they're still around today. I think they're called Zuma, spelled with an X. They had this little water packet thing where you drop this packet in water, shake it up, and it gives you all this crazy energy. So I signed up for my second network marketing opportunity. Did that for about 3 months. Failed miserably at that because, again, I didn't know what I was doing. Made my list of 100 people, my friends and family, all that sort of stuff. Didn't know how to pitch, didn't know how to sell, didn't know how to really do much of anything, so I failed at that. And then, fast forward to, let's see, what are we now? 2018. So fast forward again to, what was it? December of 2015. I now met my beautiful wife, Katie, who's sitting right there, who is my rock, my glue, my support. She deserves way more applause than that, just so you guys know. We'll get to that. So, fast forward to about 3 years ago, give or take, and it was right before Christmas time, and I wasn't doing anything with network marketing. I wasn't doing anything with any kind of business. I was kind of at the peak. I was at the peak of my retail career. I was a store manager for, I think I was with Home Depot at the time. So, I've run Whole Foods Market, I've run Lowe's as a store manager, I've run Home Depot's as a store manager. So I had lots of management experience, lots of leadership experience that I've just gained over the years. But I was kind of doing that thing. I always had the entrepreneurial spirit in the back of my brain, but it just wasn't active at the time. And then about December of 2015, Katie comes up and she's like, hey, my cousin Kelly's going to sponsor me into this business, and I'm just going to do it. She says she's going to sign me up, and she signed me up. Okay. And I don't know if those are the exact words, but it's pretty close. We're paraphrasing here. And so she's like, I think I'm going to take a go at it. And at the time, I was the only income earner because she's a stay-at-home mom, and we'll get to our son in a bit. And she's like, I'm going to make a go at it. Of course, at the time, I'm thinking, well, shit, I'm the only income earner, and she's going to start working at it, bringing another income into the household. That sounds good. We can be a multiple income couple. That sounds good. Cool. So get into January, and she starts going after it. And now I see her making her list. And now I see her, creating these posts on Facebook. And next thing I know, she sponsors somebody. And she sponsors somebody again. And she sponsors somebody again. Next thing I know, she's actually starting to make a little bit of money. And I'm like, tell me more about this stuff. Like, how does the comp plan work? How does the comp, let me go through the product catalog. And now I'm thinking, now my brain starts going. And now I'm like, tell me about the comp plan. She's like, I don't know anything about the comp plan. So I start doing my own research. And now it's like the fire starts burning again in the back of my brain. You guys have probably had this feeling when you've gone a time or two between companies. And the fire starts to burning, and I start to get that itch. I was like, oh shit, here it comes. So I'm like, babe, sponsor me in. Sponsor me in, I'm ready, coach, put me in. And so, January 25th, 2016, I believe it was on your birthday, she sponsored me in. And I was like, all right, here we go. So again, I had this brilliant idea. The company had this thing called, I can't remember what it was called, it was like the 3 steps to your success or whatever it is, we'll just call it that. It actually had a name, but I can't remember. So the company had a plan to get started. But again, my entrepreneurial spirit kicks in, and I created my own plan. We ran to Staples, I got an easel, I got a flip chart, I got markers, I started taking, you Amway guys might know this. I started drawing the circles and the lines and how to duplicate and all this other stuff because, man, I knew it from all my other experience that I knew what I was doing. So I made my list, and this time was a little bit different though, because now I had a little more life experience, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make it happen this time. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win because I know what the potential is. I know what's at stake. And what's at stake is our family. Now I have a little more why, a little more purpose, versus when I was in my early 20s and it was more just about the money and getting to drive a cool car. Now I had a little more push motivation, okay? So I was like, all right, this time I'm going to make it happen. I'm definitely going to make it happen. So I made my list, and I remember I was going to say, all right, I'm going to lock myself in the office. I'm going to dedicate some actual time to this, and I'm going to start going through my hundreds list. And I made a list, I think it was 337 people that I could make a list of. And from a starting point, when you guys, for you old school traditionals, you know that when you go to make your hundreds list, if you make a list of 337 people, that's a hell of a place to start. Well, you know how many people I sponsored out of that 337 people? We'll just call it less than 5. But the fire was in me, and it was going this time because I had a little more push, I had a little more motivation. I knew my why was starting to form. It wasn't there yet, but my why was starting to form. And I got to a point where I burned through the list, or realistically, I just got sick and tired of calling people and getting rejection. So I found myself drifting into the cold market. Like it's like that ball and chain, you're like, I'm getting cold market, here I go. Because you don't want to work with your warm market anymore. And half you guys know that when you make your hundreds list, some of the last people you want to bring into your business is your friends and your family. Right? Let's just be honest. There are exceptions, there are amazing exceptions like the Webergs, but most like, would I want my sister on my team? I love her to death, but hell no. That's just the reality of it. So, some of you have met her, she's amazing, I love her, but I don't want to work with her. I'm good. So, I said to Katie, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep pushing, I'm gonna keep driving, I'm gonna make this happen. So I got into the mall in New Hampshire, and I kind of created this little schedule for myself where after work I was gonna come home, kiss the kid, have dinner with the wife, and then go off to the mall, jump in my truck, go up to the mall, walk around, start strike this. At this point I started developing a little more confidence, and I could have a conversation with a total stranger. And I started cold prospecting. I started ordering supplies. They had these little thing called Blitz cards. Anybody knows what Blitz cards are? And it basically just has, your name and info and like a couple of cool slogans from the company. And I would start walking through the mall, and I would start having these conversations with total strangers that didn't give a F about me or what the hell I was saying to them. And I did this for a few weeks, or it felt like a few weeks anyway. And I got to a point where through this time I started going to YouTube and I started researching some of the top leaders that were in our company, the people that were making, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30, $40,000 a month. I was going on to YouTube to see what they were doing. And of course, they're making videos about going out to malls and passing out blitz cards and everything, and how they're having all these awesome results. Oh my God, I went to the mall today and I signed up 17 people. Bullshit. Really. You know they didn't do that. But again, I'm watching these videos, and I got so frustrated one night after walking around the mall. I went out to my truck, and it's like, here I am. I'm going to put myself in my truck. I'm going to go home. And, Katie's going to be like, how'd it go? Great, went really good. And I'm sitting in my truck, and I pull out on my phone, I pull out YouTube. And I'm just searching for the name of the company and a few top leaders. And I'm looking, and I'm just looking after video after video after video. And then I come across, somehow, it must have been a keyword that I typed in, and I came across a video by a guy by the name of Nick Anderson. You might know him. He's on our leaderboard, and he's earned over, what Joel's probably earned, probably over $40,000 with Funnel Lifestyle. But I came across this video about this amazing new thing, new to me, this brand new thing called a sales funnel. And I thought it was the most badass thing I'd ever seen, ever heard of. I was like, this dude is onto something. And I had kind of reached my wit's end walking around shopping malls, and I thought there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to get better results. So I ended up reaching out to Nick. So fast forward, now we're in the springtime of 2016, and I reach out to him. I don't know if I sent him an email or I hooked up with him on Facebook or whatever it was, but I reached out, and then he introduced me to this company called MLSP. How many people here have heard of MLSP? All right, a lot of you, good. So again, good company. They have a funnel builder. They basically teach attraction marketing. And I got into attraction marketing, and I got into, for the first time, video marketing. And that's where, it was, how do I get people into my business? I was still with that other network marketing company, but I was learning this different aspect of it, of going through the process of attraction marketing and making videos. So I started making videos, again, kind of coming out of my comfort zone a little bit and making videos about how I can attract people to me. And for those of you that have ever gone to my YouTube channel and gone all the way back to the beginning and saw some of my videos on how to brand yourself online, like I made a video about how to brand yourself online, and it was the very first video I made. I had no fucking clue what I was doing, but I made a video about how to do it. Okay? So talk about ILT. I saw a couple of videos about how to brand yourself online, and all I did is take a couple of bullet point notes and I copied those exact videos and I made a video about that. And so as I went through that process, I started to learn a little more, and I started to create some funnels. And then I got my very first subscribers. I started to build a list. And of course, now I have a list of over 26,000 people, but back in the springtime of 2016, I had zero, I had nobody. But I made my first video, I created my first page. Again, it's just kind of learning all this stuff. And I started to build a little bit of a list. And then I found out that Nick was also involved in this other company. So I joined him in that company too, thinking that was going to be a little bit better than MLSP. And again, I started to learn a little bit more. I started to figure out this whole, I can send emails out and actually give people value. I started to learn more and more, bless you. Started to learn more and more about this thing called attraction marketing. Started to learn more about ILT. It was actually the very first time I heard ILT was through MLSP, because I was watching a video about Ray Higdon. Anybody know who Ray Higdon is? Pretty badass network marketer, 8-figure earner. I think he knows what he's doing at this point. But that's where I first heard the concept ILT, invest, learn, teach. So I started mirroring that to a T. Anything that I could learn, anything that had to do with online marketing, that had to do with social media, that had to do with just about anything, I would make a video about and then put it on my YouTube channel. Sometimes it was the most meaningless, pointless little thing, but if it was something that could help somebody else learn anything, even if it didn't have to do with sponsoring them into my business, I started making more and more videos. And it was all focused on ILT. What could I teach somebody today? And that's really what I tried to get into. So then, fast forward a little bit more, now we're getting into the summertime, and Nick reaches out to me. He actually sent me a text. He said, yo, we gotta get on the phone. And then we end up getting on the phone. He says, hey, there's this new company, and I think this is going to be the real deal. This is something that you definitely want to take a look at. And at this point, I'd never really had too much real conversation with Nick because everything was either done through Facebook or done through text or Messenger or whatever. And he's like, yo, you gotta check this thing out. This is gonna be awesome, man. I just got started, and I'm gonna start driving some traffic to this, and you can hear, just watch this video. So I watched this video, and I was like, yo, I think this is it. And that was my first introduction to a company called Digital Altitude. Anybody here been part of DA, Digital Altitude? I'm sorry. Sorry that happened to us all. But at the time, again, that fire, that passion was still there, and I was still growing. I hadn't achieved really any results from what I set out to do when I got started with my wife, but that drive was there. And so I was learning more about DA. I think I had signed up for like $1 trial, and I think this is right around the summertime. This is the month of July, and I was pretty much ready to give this thing a go. And then there was one day when it was right around that time frame when my wife and I were sitting down, and we were sitting in our dining room. And we had a lot of stuff going on with our son, and we also had, we had some bills going on. We were sitting at the dining room table, and I had some, I think, just house bills in front of me, and she had some hospital bills in front of her stacked up. So it's like, here's a stack of bills, here's a stack of bills, and we were kind of, I think, both in a little bit of a sour mood, just dealing with the bills that we were looking at, dealing with what we were dealing with at the time. And don't quote me exactly, but my wife said the words, "this fucking life," or "this is my fucking life," looking down at the bills. And there was something about what she said and how she said it that, for me, it was a very poignant moment. And it felt like somebody just took a dagger, jammed it into my ribs, and twisted, and I said, that's it. I am officially going all in with my life, with my business, for my family, for everything. And that day, I think, was July 16th, 2016. And that's the same day that I also had the conversation with her, where I actually said, hey, there's this thing, it's this business, it's an investment, I think I'm ready to do this, and I'm ready to commit to this, and I'm ready to fully go for it. And that was when I actually decided that I'm ready to go for this and put everything I have into this and really commit to it. And one of the reasons that really helped that commitment is not just the fact that, she said those words, but it was, I mentioned a little while ago about your why, and really knowing your why. And at the time, all through my 20s, up until July 2016, sometimes you think you know your why, and you really don't. Sometimes it takes a while for your why to come out. And for me, it was right around that time frame, because as we were sitting there, as we were, dealing with what we were dealing with, I was ready to go for it, because I was sick and tired of not providing as a provider. I was sick and tired of not providing the lifestyle that we truly deserve. And don't get me wrong, we didn't have a bad lifestyle. We weren't necessarily struggling. I was a retail manager. I was making over $100,000 a year, but it wasn't what I wanted. Okay? Could I provide for my family? Sure. But it wasn't what I wanted. Why? Because I knew what was out there, and I knew what was possible. So, my why, the reason why I do what I do, half of that is right here, and the other half is our son Lucas. And our son has become my push motivation that helps me do what I do. And he helps me do what I do really, really well. And part of the reason for all of those builds is, we have enough challenges, with me doing the whole marketing thing and dedicating all this time to this business. I mean, we have enough challenges with that, but, we also have some challenges with our son as well. And our son is probably the most amazing warrior that, if for those of you that have actually met him, he's the most amazing little warrior. And it hasn't been easy. It really hasn't been easy because, our son was, Katie was a full 40 weeks, full term. Everything was super normal with her pregnancy. And, we were expecting this cool, super awesome little boy, and he is obviously cool, super awesome. But when he came out, we were a little surprised because he was missing skin on 50% of his body. And that took us as a shock. And what happened over time is it was one challenge to another challenge to another challenge to another challenge. And we started dealing with all of these challenges. We started finding ourselves in and out of hospitals. And we've been to Boston Children's Hospital probably more times than we can count. And this is what we found ourselves dealing with. And talking about your why, talking about your push, sometimes you guys, you just don't know what that is until you know. And early on, I thought I knew what my why was. I thought it was living that lifestyle. I thought it was, being able to travel the beaches of the world and, to quote a lot of those videos out there. And it's not that. It's just the fact that I want more time with my family. I want to be able to provide them a lifestyle that nobody else can. So as we were, learning and growing and developing with our son, it turned in, went from a skin thing to a breathing thing to a digestion thing to all these little things. And the whole time we're trying to figure out, as parents, and obviously from as doctors too, we're trying to figure out what is going on. Because to paint you guys a picture, how many here have kids? So just about the entire room. So our son can't walk, can't crawl, can't speak, he can't eat food on his own. We feed him through a port in his stomach. So you want to talk about challenges in life. You want to talk about push motivation to provide. When he came out, we didn't know what was going on. A year later, we still didn't know what was going on. 3 years later, we still didn't know what was going on. And it came to a point where we're just having blood work done and blood work done and blood work done, and we're trying to, send out all this stuff. I'm getting pricked, she's getting pricked, our son's getting pricked. He's had blood drawn so many fucking times I can't even count. And he's just amazing for sticking through it each and every time. And it was about a year and a half ago, don't quote me, but we finally got what I would not really consider an answer, but we realized that there was some type of gene abnormality. And when we first found that out, it was like, we found out our kid was, at the time, one of 6 kids in the world with this specific gene thing. Now it's more, he's like 1 of 12 or 1 of 15, I don't even know. But all I know is what I do and why I do what I do and why this is just the beginning is that I'm going to provide a lifestyle for my son and my wife and my family to make sure that my family and my wife never, ever have to worry about money again. Ever. So, I'm trying not to be a weak-ass bitch and crying. When you have something like that to go after, that for me is motivation. And although to some it might seem like a challenge, and it might seem like There's so many opportunities along the way in life that can knock you down and push you back and drag you down into the gutter and prevent you from moving forward. But until you ultimately make that decision that I'm going to do this, I am going to find a way to win. That for me was July of 2016. That for me was that moment that I made the decision to fully go after our goals, dreams, and live the lifestyle that we truly deserve to live. Because, plain and simple, we don't know what the future holds for our son. We don't know if we'll ever get more answers. We don't know if I'll ever have a conversation with my son. But all I know is he's never going to have to worry about money in his life. Because I love what I do. And I love helping people. And I love ILT. I love being here to share this with you. And getting here has just been an absolutely amazing journey, and we're just getting started. So for you, what you need to do is fully decide. And I don't just mean, yeah, I signed up. Fuck that. Plain and simple, and this is reality, and sometimes this hurts. But if your why doesn't make you cry, then go get another why. And that's the God's honest truth. If your push motivation doesn't keep you up at night because you're not getting where you want to be, then refocus your thinking. So for me, once I made that decision, I started pouring myself into my business. I started, and this might be an important lesson for you, it was for me, is I actually negotiated with Katie. I negotiated. Once I made my decision that I'm going to go for this, I started time blocking. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to work my job. I'm going to drive to work. I'm going to drive back. I'm going to listen to my University on Wheels, like Dave mentioned yesterday. Started listening to my empowering audios. I started getting myself into the zone. I would come home, cook dinner, put our son to bed, and then I would lock myself in the office from 9 o'clock at night until, you coming to bed? A lot of nights that's how it was, but that was the time that I dedicated to myself and our future every single night. I started dedicating that time. And I got consistent, really, really consistent. Consistent driving traffic, consistent with my business, started seeing consistent results because consistent action equals consistent results, exactly. So I started getting some consistency going. And now I started to, occasionally I would start getting recognized, either by the CEO of the company or by another leader or whatever it was. So now we're getting into the fall of 2016, and I started developing some really good habits, really good consistencies, really good results. And I just kept pushing, I kept driving. I had my why locked down pat, I had my motivation, I knew what I wanted, I knew where I wanted to be. And turned the corner into 2017, and now we're in spring of 2017, and guess who reaches out to me again? Some kid named Nick Anderson. He's like, yo, I just got back from Maui, Hawaii, dude. I met this guy named Joel Terrian. He's like, and I was like, yeah, I just saw this dude on an OSP webinar, and he was with some dude named Vince, and talked about some launch thing or whatever. He's like, yeah, man, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna sponsor under Vince, you're gonna sponsor under me, I'm gonna help blow up your downline, we're gonna lock you in a good spot, and we're gonna start blowing this thing up. I was like, okay, sounds good. But my focus at the time is still on this other company. And then, I don't know what it was, but something about Joel was just pure. Something about the way he came across just resonated with me. And it was about somewhere in the March range when I said, all right, cool. And then I just decided, you know what? I've been doing this DA thing now for about 8 months, not really getting the results I want. And by the way, we're already almost $50,000 into it, which, by the way, all that money's gone, and I'm never getting it back. And we're still dealing with it, with credit cards and other shit. So, yeah, that's reality right there. So, come March, locked my position into Now Lifestyle, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna flip the switch. So instead of sending traffic to this other thing, I'm gonna start sending traffic to Now Lifestyle. And I started sending traffic to Now Lifestyle, and I started sponsoring some people in pretty quick, because at the time, over the course of 2016, throughout learning attraction marketing, throughout learning how to make videos, learning how to create pages, learning how to do all these things, I kind of had some experience, a little more experience that I had taken the time and I had learned. I started applying this into Now Lifestyle. And then, so of course, what do? I go to YouTube. And as I'm on YouTube, I search Now Lifestyle. First thing I see is all these videos by this dude I've never heard of named Richard Weberg. And I was like, all right, I made it a goal for myself. I made it a goal. I'm gonna outrank him. I'm gonna make a new Now Lifestyle video every single day. And I got into ILT with Now Lifestyle. You guys know all the different tabs across the back office. I made a video about NLS University. I made a video about the lead capture system. I made a video about the autoresponder. I made a video about all the tools and links and all the cool shit that was available inside of Now Lifestyle. And I started making video after video after video after video. I think at least one of them passed him. But my goal was to get as many videos on that front page of YouTube as possible. So I started driving massive traffic. I started driving massive video exposure. I started emailing my lists, all the videos that I was making. I started reaching out to people on Facebook. I started gaining some real good traction really, really quickly. So in March of 2017, in my first 10 days, I think I did about $1,500 in earnings. And then April was my first full month. I made a little over $4,000. I kept going, same action, taking action. Did I master the back office before I made the videos? Hell no, but I made the videos anyway, and people watch them, and they signed up. Because why did people sign up after watching my videos? Because I had what? Same thing you guys have right now. Starts with an A. Authority positioning. I made videos and other people didn't. Richard made videos and other people didn't. That's why he got results real quick. That's why I got results real quick. So then May came along, and I started pushing, driving, still going. In May, I made $9,900. I was $100 shy of my first 5-figure month ever. And then in June, started, same thing, keep going, the wheels going. Had my first 5-figure month. I made $15,366 in the month of June. And now the train was really starting to move. And it wasn't just luck. That was having that motivation, having that drive, time blocking my time and being really organized, really diligent with what I do, and just never, ever, ever refusing to quit, because now I fully understood my why. I fully understand my drive and what are the results that I actually want. And it all comes down to one thing, guys. I'm up here because I did one thing. I decided that I wanted this. That's it. So you need to decide, what is it that you actually want? What is your why? What is going to push you to get you the results that you want? Is it your kids? Is it a new shiny car? Is it a vacation? What is it? But whatever it is, just wholeheartedly believe in it. Because once you have your why locked in, and once you actually decide, and again, a lot of people think that they decide. A lot of people are like, yep, I made my decision. But I'm telling you one thing. When you get $50,000 in debt, and you want to consider pitching another business opportunity to your wife, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta have this conversation again. That's real. But the point is, I actually had the conversation with her, and she said, yes, and now we're here, but it's not giving up. It's not quitting, because quitters never win. And like I said, I know damn sure 1,000%, because ladies and gentlemen, here is another truth that everybody in this room knows. In our lifetime, in all of our lives right here, everybody that's in this room, everybody here, we all have one thing in common that is 1,000% certain going to happen to all of us. And what is that? We're all going to die. So, yeah, let that sink in. Let that sink in. So, you can either decide that you're going to live the most amazing fucking lifestyle possible, and you're going to provide the most amazing life for you and your family. You can decide that I'm going to provide a lifestyle for my family that nobody can provide. I'm going to do whatever I can fucking do to make sure that that girl right there and my son never have to worry about a goddamn thing in their lifetime. I can decide that I'm never going to quit. I can decide that it's going to happen. I can decide that nothing is going to stop me. Not debt, not traffic, not a stupid solo ad. Nothing is going to stop me because I made that decision. So nothing is going to get in my way. So don't let anything get in your way. Don't let a stupid bullshit excuse or a friend or a relative be that Achilles heel to you. Because all you have to do, we talked about 3 simple things yesterday, traffic conversion and mindset, but you can make it even more simple. All you got to do is just decide that you want it. That's it. Just make the fucking decision. That's it. And I apologize for swearing, but I get excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for helping you guys get results, but all you have to do is decide that you want it. You have to decide that I want to be a diamond. You have to decide that I want to make 6 figures a month, 4 figures a month, 5 figures a month. Whatever your why is, know it, hold it tight, and don't ever let it go. And just decide that you want results. Because if you do that, not a freaking thing will get in your way. You hear me? Not a thing will get in your way. So, making that decision takes work. I'm just going to be honest with you. Sometimes you think you have it and you might not, and you're almost there. But once you know, you will know. So, I have a question for you guys. Once you make your decision, are you guys going to let anything get in your way? No. Are you guys ready to go get it? Yes. Are you guys ready to go get it? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Thank you.